Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update Tab Touch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59 went to Neverland and Real Love Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
26 degrees currently. We're heading for 38 today, and as a consequence, an early start at Ascot just after 9 a.m. This morning. And as we start this high-rating show, I just want to wish my daughter a quick happy birthday today. She's not a punter, so she won't be listening. Not a punter yet, but it's on record as a little thing from Dad. All right, over to Darren, who's in the broadcast box at Ascot. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks indeed, Matty. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone, and a very happy birthday to your daughter as well. If she's anything like mine, at 18, she'll be asking for her own Tab Touch account, because that was a reality. Dad, just give me one thing for my birthday, and I'll just open up a little betting account to have a bit of fun on the punt. And why not? Anyway, it's great to have your company here for Ted Van Heemst Staes Day, of course, with all of the changes with the hot weather policy, the heat policy that's been introduced for the weekend. We've got the early start there at 4 after 9, and then with that early conclusion as the day gets hotter and hotter. With some sense of irony, there is a track rating of a soft 5 at this stage on screen, but that will change very, very quickly, and we'll be looking at a good 4. And conditions certainly outdoors at the moment, just looking around, a very light easterly that's blowing at the moment there too. But other than that, it's been a very still morning out here at Ascot. Scott Embry is with me in the broadcasting box. Set for a big day, of course. He'll be on air with 7 plus from 8:45 this morning. So we better shake the old tail feather this morning, Scotty. Good morning to you. The Van Heemst, the highlight today, but it's a big platinum day of racing as well, with the plate, the cup, the classic, the size, the sprint and the mile, with Thoroughbred Breeders WA also set for a very big day here at Ascot.
Yes, it's going to be a very warm day out here this afternoon, but we'll get things started nice and early, hopefully get out as it starts to hit its peak temperature. That easterly breeze due to drop at about 10 a.m, and it'll swing southerly, so hopefully not too much of an impact on racing. West Speed Platinum Day, plenty of money around, $125,000 races all day, and
fantastic.
Then a $300,000 Van Heemst, which I would think is probably going to be dominated by the 2 Eastern State Raiders in New Marion and also Sox Nation, as we start to really warm up for the Perth Cup.
Bar Sox Nation, almost a rerun of last year's, with the first 3 place getters home in the Van Heemst from 12 months ago, set to do battle again.
I thought from the effort in the Northerly, New Marion would be very hard to beat today and could well go back to back.
Extremely so. We'll go through changes for the meeting, and a couple of gear changes of note that have come through. Castle Road race 1, Bubble Cheeker on. Divine Belief has pads on both 4s, and in a late one in the Van Heemst a little later, Let's Gallivant, please note, will race with a near-hind bar shoe on. Race 6, number 4, Let's Gallivant, a near-hind bar shoe goes on. Now, the scratchings for the program, as I say, it's a fine day here, hot conditions, 38 at the top, and we'll be at a good 4 in the next few moments without a shadow of a doubt. Race 1, a field of 7, a pay 1-2. That race to be dominated by Castle Road in terms of the market. It's been a raging favourite right from the outset of betting. Race 2 is the Own the Dream Maiden, over 1,400. And here, take out number 2, Biondo. Number 2, Biondo comes out, and Kesh Duran will ride number 17 in Pilbara Song. The 3rd, the West Speed Platinum Cup. Now, this race will go at 9 after 10. Please note there this morning. And in terms of changes, there are none to come out of the 3rd. Over to race number 4, the Epona Classic at 10:44 for the fillies and mares. And we can scratch number 4, Janny. She becomes a very significant scratching. 7, Wednesday is out also. 4 and 7 out of race 4. And just repeating, the Divine Belief, which is the favourite for the race, and it will be wearing pads on both 4s. Race 5, the West Speed Platinum Sires Stakes, 11:19, and it is clear. as we take you to race number 6, the Ted Van Heemst Stakes at Group 2, 11:54 this morning. Let's gallivant with a near-hind bar shoe going on and a field of 8 to run. Over to race number 7, the Westspeed Platinum Sprint at 12:31, and no changes there. Race 8 is the Westspeed Platinum Mile at 8 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we have one out. That is number 17, the emergency runner playing hardball. Number 17 out of the second last. And race 9 at 1:44, the Thoroughbred Breeders WA Stallion Tender Scheme Trophy race. And we can take out 14 Go-Go Grommet, which heads down to Bunbury tomorrow, and also number 18, Our Mate Archie. So that is very significant that the emergency hostile talk has gained a run. Certainly looks one of the very, very live hopes in that last race for the day. Matt, we'll get straight to the markets for the opening event. I prefaced Castle Road's dominance in the betting since these markets first appeared, and deep in the red, and that remains the case as well here this morning as we take you through some of the other betting information from Tab Touch in regards to the Thoroughbred Breeders WA Westspeed Platinum Plate.
$1.40 Castle Road, True Reflections at 23, out to 11 London's Rascal, Salvagina's at 13, in from 21.34 Final Flush, Golden Opera's at 4.80 and $15 from 12 Kerry Commander.
Very good trial leading into its debut run. Very professional performance first up by Castle Road, and looks to have a mortgage on the first on what we've seen of its opposition.
Exactly right. He only rises half a kilo here under the set weights and penalties conditions, and I would imagine that if you looked at this race in comparison to what he beat on debut, I would probably say that there's less quality in this than what he raced against on debut. I think that Do Feel Lucky goes quite okay. There was plenty of money around that day for Buckled from Simon Miller's yard as well. I don't think I've seen anywhere near as much depth of the trial brigade or the race brigade in this. So one, Castle Road logically leads and wins. I thought the danger, if there was to be one, was probably shin soreness, to be fair, but I thought that from a map perspective, Golden Opera sits leaders back from barrier 1. If Castle Road wobbles up the straight like he did on debut, she could just hug the rail and hopefully sneak through along the inside into second. Then Ryan Hill's filly, London's Rascal, I didn't think was a bad 400-metre jump out. And True Fiction should be improved from the debut performance, but was nearly 7 lengths off Castle Road. Didn't see much from the rest, to be fair. 1-6-3-2.
I found one other one there that I'll include, but it's down towards the bottom end of the selections. I'm very much like you here, identical Castle Road for all of those reasons there. Love the way that he shaped up there at his first run out of that prolific winning family, and it just gets better and better. And he could finish up being one of those very good 2-year-olds, all things being equal, that goes into the autumn, and we get to see a very nice horse.
Well, after today, he's already won 80,000. He should pocket somewhere near another 90-odd today. He's won a stack of money in 2 races.
No, nice horse too. To beat number 6 Golden Opera and 3 London's Rascal, had the blinkers on in that trial, which had led them. I'm going to put number 4 Salve Regina in. It was very wide at its only start behind Torcanco, trialled well leading into it, and then has trialled, of course, and won that trial again recently. Wide gate, 7 out of 7, but thought that maybe because there's a lack of depth in the race, you could include Salve Regina there in your exotics. In a race, Matty, which is completely dominated by the top weight Castle Road.
Still $1.40, number 1-6-3-2 from Scott, 1-6-3 and 4 from Darren in the opener. The second race at 9.37, the Own the Dream maiden over 1,400 with 2 out Keshore Duran on 17. In the market here into 2.60 Northern Diamond now, $5 for Tactics, 7 from 9 for Gaspardo. Soldier of God is at 11 together with Precious God, and then $14 Romantic Ruler, 1 for the girls, and then 20 or better for those not mentioned.
Okay, well, I haven't tipped this particular horse in race 2, but boy, oh boy, there's got to be a race coming up very soon for Paula Wagg's Precious God, the way it's racing, and it doesn't get any favours today at all from the draw, and the conditions will not suit. So I've had to park it back a little bit, but gee, I tell you what, it's going around as one of the better maiden fillies, I think, currently in training. Doesn't make it any easier, though, from drawn out there in barrier 16 this afternoon and being a get-back runner. So there has to be another day, you would think, for Precious God. So favouritism is with Northern Diamond. Justine Erkelen's as filly here. She's been placed at 2 of 3. beaten by What's the Point. Now, we know that What's the Point's got a fair bit of ability.
And a fair bit to learn as well. That was quite incredible what he did the other day at the 600-metre marker here last Saturday. He just almost looked like he was about to lose his hind legs, and he dropped out of contention and he came back underneath Earthstorm. So we're going to use that as the obvious point of reference. And the third filly that was a mile off them in the finish actually was Cosmic Spirit, who Mickey G took down to Albany for a nice soft kill. So I think here that Northern Diamond is the one that you need to pay the most respect to, and she's the one that the market wants to. Very, very popular, into 260 now. I just thought from that draw she would get every mortal chance, where a few of her main dangers may not. I agree with you. Precious God could well end up being the best horse in this field in the future, but today just looks really tricky for her. 14 Northern Diamond, 1 Romantic Ruler for the same reasons. Where does he get to? He's racing so well for Kath Pinter. He deserves to pinch one, but he's a 16-start maiden who's likely to do it tough. 5 Tactics. Neville Parnham took the blinkers off last start, and he was just gone.
Straight back on.
At the point of the corner.
Yes.
Give him a freshen up. Shades go back on. Expected him to bounce back. And 6 Gaspardo, who was pretty stiff not to win that race at Albany. In fact, both of those last two hasn't had much go his way. Full of respect for Precious God. Just cannot map her. 14, 1, 5, 6.
Yeah, very similar once again. 14 on top as well. Northern Meteor and 1 Romantic Ruler then. But, gee, the gate does make it an awfully difficult assignment there. A greater challenge than what they would have liked it to have been. 5 Tactics. I'll put 16 in Precious God and just keep following, because some of her runs have been absolutely breathtaking in defeat.
Soldier of God was quite a handy trial too, and he's only struck wet tracks so far in his life, so maybe one to keep in consideration.
Okay, there you go. Again, our selection's very, very similar in the first 2 races, Matt.
Northern Diamond, number 14, 1, 5 and 6 from Scott, 14, 1, 5 and 16 from Darren in race 2. At 10.09 sees the running of the third West Speed Platinum over 2100, and the favourite here, 460 into 290 Rocking Society, 420 into 380 Kisses from Kelly, 850 back to 950 Alaskan returns to that 850, 14 into 11 for Beats of War. Henchard is 8 out to 12, 16 to 14 Candlelight Sheriff, and 15 or greater the other.
I like this race here. It's got some depth in it there. Scotty Kisses from Kelly was a huge performance, first up and backed up 7 days later with a fabulous win, 18 into a 2200. Rocking Society also building very well with a last start victory. Gee, I love the way that it toughed it out, worked on a really hot pace there that day. I think it sets it up for a great clash.
So do I, and I'm happy to play into this race. This will be my play of the day. I'm going to back Kisses from Kelly and save Rocking Society. It sounds pretty uninspiring, and it is, but prices being what they are, I can get 280 Kisses from Kelly with Rocking Society a save. So that looks like a bet for me. I really did think that one of those 2 horses would win this race. Kisses from Kelly only won it by, about a head over Roch Legacy. But it's worth remembering that he had no cover for the first 800, then he took cover, then he got held up, and then he was able to sprint off a dime and grab them. I thought it was the win of a nice progressive stayer. 6 Rocking Society, he's got that Mel Vista Derby form as a 3-year-old. He was 12 into 420 last start, landed massive, massive bets, and they've come for him again here. He's the horse on the rise as well, and he's got a 5-kilo pull on Kisses from Kelly. I thought they were the pair. 1 from 6, 9 Alaskan. There was money around for him last start, and he ran a much improved race, and 4 in Idyllic Ruler. First time this prep out to the 2100, but he should be able to roll his way to the top, and he sets a nice genuine tempo, and he gets rolling from a fair way out. 1, 6, 9, 4, but I thought it was Kisses from Kelly or Rocking Society, so I'll back one, save the other.
The market's telling us Rocking Society is the way to go. It's into 290 now from 460 in the opening of these markets for the race there. I've been impressed with both horses. I mean, anyone would have to say that if you can go 1800 first up and then back up over 22 7 days later and get the job done as effectively as Kisses from Kelly did, well, you know, they're obviously starting to really fulfil their potential. 60.5 kilos could be significant, you know, warm day, not quite sure. I'll roll the dice there with the horse's ability, clearly, but at the same time, I'm a fan of Rocking Society. Love the way that he's building and the preparation. The market's strong. I just like the fact that they went 149.2 and it was the one that just kept on giving and was able to hold on thereafter, chasing that very hot speed there that day. So 6-1 could be either. Henchard was probably a little on the unlucky side behind Kisses from Kelly, and is racing well, the York Cup winner. And number 9 for me, and that is Alaskan, who there was improvement, I think, last start. So whether it can take another step forward, it was beaten only a neck to Kisses from Kelly in that blanket finish, and I thought hit the line really well there. It was solid at the end of that race. So we'll mark it down there into the 4th box. I'm 6 from 1, 3 and 9. But, I like the race. It's got some depth in it, that is for sure. The 3rd on the program, Matt.
So on top from Scott, 1, which is Kisses from Kelly, 6, 9, 4. Darren is with 6, Rocking Society from 1, 3 and 9. Shall we roll over to race 4?
We have to keep on rolling, yes. Scotty's got some commitments here coming up in around 22 minutes on 7+, so we will push on. 4
and 7 out of this 4th race at 10.44, the opponent classic. 2.35, Divine Belief. 5.50 for Rissoles. $7, Miss Flirtatious and Playing Games. And then 9 for Duchess of Gossip and Miss Vasari. The other 3 are in double figures.
Okay, well, Divine Belief untried at 1,200. She has won at 1,100 so far in her 6 wins from 13. You would think the conditions will probably suit her, because she's going to hightail towards the top, and if that's the way we're going to be mapping most of the day, will a class be enough to get her over the line at 1,200?
With the 60 as well, that's probably more so my issue. First time 1,200 with the full weight impulse that she has to carry. But I thought here today that Luke Campbell would bounce out nearly on the lead, and if he wanted to let Miss Flirtatious go, he could let her go, because she does have a turn of acceleration as well, Divine Belief. And that day that she raced over 1,100 was Damien Oliver Day, when she won it by 3 lengths ease down. So I think that she'll run the 12. It's just whether she can carry the weight. 1, Divine Belief, but now with the scratching of Janny, 2.35 won't get me. That's too short. 5, Miss Flirtatious, back to the 12 out of the Jungle Dawn is a good move here. Scratched last week to save for this. 11, Rissoles, massive step up in grade for her, but
it's massive weight relief.
The weight relief is really good for her, and she could have gone close to winning a 3-year-old Saturday last preparation, and that was straight out of a maiden. And then 2, Duchess of Gossip, went to the Jungle Mist, ran 3rd behind Baby Paris and the Boss Lady. If you took her off that 1,200 metre run, then you'd be very interested here today. 1, 5, 11, 2.
I'll be 1, Divine Belief. However, I'll be probably treading a little warily. I'm going to throw one in you haven't mentioned. I just got a funny feeling about this mare that she might just about be ready to step up. Playing Games out of Merrill Haley's yard. She does drop 3 kilos. She comes out of a favourable draw. I love the run last start there. She absolutely monstered the line late, and the extra 100 will not hurt. Back to the fillies and mares company that she'll contest this race against today. So she's a bit of value, I guess, in some respects. 2, Duchess of Gossip, clearly back to 1,200. Ran second to Harmika last year in this race, with Harmika engaged again. And I'll mark down 11, Rissoles, with this big rise in class, but as much in weight relief as well off that easy win at Belmont Park last start. So 1 from 9, 2 and 11 there in race 4.
1, 5, 11, 2 repeating Scott's tips. 1, 9, 2, 11 there from Mac in the 4th. 11.19 for the Westby Platinum size stakes over 1,200. Scratchings are nil. $4 from 6, Daytona Pete. $6.50 from 12, Sunshine Tafe. $8.50 back into 8, Street Band. 13 into 9 for Desert Whisper. Out to $9.50 from 6, Noah Quintilly. And then at $11, Bang for Buck and Diamonds and Rubies. 13 or greater the rest.
Yeah, the Platinum Sires, interesting race, this one. I love the way that Daytona Pete's going at the moment. Had no luck at all on return down at Albany, and made amends for that on the straight course at Pinjarra at its next start, when it ran very good time. And then I thought bumped into a very talented horse last start. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Supernatural, who beat Daytona Pete home at Pinjarra when they last clashed.
And you would imagine there's a 3-year-old 1,000 on Perth Cup Day, and so that's where I imagine you'll see Supernatural, and she'll have plenty of admirers there. But this is a race I struggled with. Daytona Pete, you got the straight track form at Pinjarra Park, round the bend out to 1,200 metres, but maps beautifully. You've got winter 2-year-old form through Noah Quintilly. You've got Diamonds and Rubies, who trolled the house down, I thought, at Belmont Park.
It was a beauty.
What do you do with her? She goes straight to a set weights and penalties 3-year-old race on debut.
And Holly Watson actually gave the horse a very good push on Thursday down at Bunbury.
Well, you'd have to off the back of that. She went around in neutral and was still going 2 to their 1 late. As I said, I struggled with this. Street Band's probably the horse with the most ability, but he's 6 weeks between runs off a setback. So what do you do with him from a tricky draw? I went with Goldmaker just as a point of difference runner here. I liked what he produced in his first up win at Belmont Park, and I thought he held his own behind a pretty sharp filly in None So Spicy last start, and maybe race like 1200 would be more suitable. But without a push, 4 Goldmaker, 1 Street Band, 13 Diamonds and Rubies, The Eye Doesn't Lie, and 6 in Daytona Pete, 4, 1, 13, 6.
$14 is probably a tick on the overs slightly.
I just thought she'd probably have to go back on debut. If we're talking, are you talking about Diamonds and Rubies or Goldmaker?
No, Goldmaker.
Goldmaker, I thought the double figures was good enough to at least tip him, but a really tough race.
I'm like you. I've got it high up there, Goldmaker. I've got Daytona Pete there. I've been following it right from the get-go. Well-bred, of course. We've mentioned many times here that he is from a very good family there, the brother to Red Can Man. But I think that the 1200's ideal for him. I really felt that he's needed this extra couple of 100 metres to bring him to his top. He's got the make and the shape of a horse who'll go 12-14, no doubt. To beat number 4 Goldmaker, I'm certainly in your corner there with Street Band, that query off the 42 days. And like you there, I'm certainly very keen to see what Diamonds and Rubies can produce off that Dynamite trial. So 6-4, 113, Matt, there in the Platinum Sires Stakes.
Scott is Goldmaker number 4, 113 and 6. Darren has gone 6 Daytona Pete to beat 4, 1 and 13. Just prior to looking to race 6, Electronic Mail has arrived to notify a good 4. Now the track rating there from a soft 5 to a good 4 at Ascot, with the 6th race coming up at 11:54 this morning. This is the Ted Van Heemst Group 2 over 2100 with the first 4 jackpot. Numerians 310 in from 340, 10 to 950 Casino 17, 8 out to 17 Maricino now at 15, in a point to 12 Let's Gallivant Caramundi 15, 13 Russian to the Bar in good order 13 into 8, and $3 to 280 Sox Nation.
And we've just been advised of a late scratching too in the first event here this morning, and that is number 5 Final Flush, which has failed a vet's examination. Race 1, number 5 Final Flush comes out there. Okay, well, let's get back to the Van Heemst, the Ted. And Sox Nation has remained here. Numerian, of course, comes back here to try and retain the crown, of which it won last year. Numerian, of course, this time last year defeated Maricino home, and Casino 17 ran third in the 2023 edition there. So the interesting inclusions this year are Sox Nation, the Victorian mare, and also In Good Order, who was scratched on Wednesday for this. What have you made of the race? You know what the pattern's likely to be. How does it unfold? Well,
Maricino rolls his way straight to the top. He gets Troy Turner back, which is a big positive for him. And then I would imagine that everybody else sits off him, lets him do whatever he wants to do. And then it's whether Clint Johnston-Porter or Bradley Parnham is the first to come out after Maricino, because I thought that the 2 interstate raiders would probably settle near on 2nd and 3rd in running, and they would be responsible for bringing the rest of the field to Maricino.
Both very good runs in the Group 1 Northerly.
I thought Numerian was huge. 3 deep, no cover, still loomed on straightening, still there with 100 metres to go. And Sox Nation was the Be On Me next start run when she came flashing home late. They come here today to 2100. I personally didn't think there was near on anything between them. So there's a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit more bang for your buck in Numerian than there is about Sox Nation.
What do you do with last year's place getters? Maricino, the conditions are going to suit. He won the race in 2022 as well. Doesn't seem to be going as well, though, at the moment.
It just seems like he's been a run behind the whole way through the prep. But conditions being what they are, Troy Turner going back on, I'm going to throw him in for 4th.
Okay, then Casino 17, 3rd last year. Okay in the Railway, never in it in the Northerly.
No, and Grant Williams reported they thought he may have choked down. So that's why they press on with him here rather than going to the paddock. Caramundi actually ran a really good race in the Northerly. He was the fastest closing sectionals. Mm-hmm. In Good Order, what do you do with him? He's an 88 rater at weight for age. He gets 1 kilo off Numerian. Should be a lot more. I'm not quite sure where he measures up. Putting them in order, though, Numerian for me, I thought he was huge in the Northerly and suggested here that he was the one to beat. 8 Sox Nation is the one I'm scared about. I'll put my hand up. I'd be shocked if it wasn't one of those 2 winning this race. I put 7 In Good Order there because sometimes they do measure up at weight for age at their first attempt, and 3 Maricino out of respect for the leader. 1, 8, 7, 3.
He always commands at Maricino, no matter what. I'm with 1 Numerian as well over Sox Nation. Sets it up for a great battle, but I'm very much I guess, in the mindset of Curramundi. If that run coming out of the northerly is an indicator, the way that he's sort of been going along, I think that Curramundi's certainly one of those really good hopes at $16 or thereabouts to run in to your top 3, 4, then 7 in good order as well. 1, 8, 5 and 7 in the Van Heemst. Okay, we'll quickly recap those and then check in on that market for the Westspeed Platinum Sprint.
1, 8, 7 and 3 from Scott. 1, 8, 5 and 7 there, the tips from Darren in the 6th. Now, Falcon Trader in the 7th is at $10, $3.80. For investment strategy, the Fave, $4.40 King Cartel, $6.50 Lorganicus, then Yarra Lee at $8.50 and 10, as mentioned, Falcon Trader, and also now Ginger Green as well, and then 11 or greater the rest. All
right, well, we'll get a good look at the profile of the meeting there with the conditions here for the day by the time we get to race 7, that is for sure and certain. You've been following a horse called Yarra Lee and been absolutely devoid of luck on occasions after that incredible win back here on the 9th of November. Forget It went around at its next start to Miss Sky High, and then charging to the line behind Lord Gannicus last start. May have won in another few bounds.
She ran 33.73 last week.
Low level flying she is.
She's just a different mare this time in. Off the 7 days, down in weight, drawn a bit better. I thought she was one of many, many chances in a very open and even type of race. When the markets first went up, I did this race and I thought to myself, I need each way investment strategy because he's the one I wanted to be with, but with the unknown from the barrier, I needed each way. And when the markets went up 550, you got each way. So I locked him in on top. Did I think that he would jump 380 favourite? Probably not. So he's a tip no bet for me now. Betting and punting is all about timing. 2 investment strategy. I thought he was good enough in the Peters after setting that slow tempo. I thought he was pretty luckless in the carbine behind Aztec Ruler Valor Road, and I loved his run last start behind Rush Into the Bar. I thought just as long as Brad Parnham gave him a half-decent run from a really tricky draw, he was the one that they needed to beat, but I didn't think he'd get this short. Lord Gannicus was very impressive last week. As visually impressive as Yarra Lee was, Lord Gannicus was 3 deep the trip, no cover at any stage, and monstered them.
And off 7 days, not a bad record either. He's got a win and a place from 2 runs coming off a week between outings.
And as we saw on Wednesday, not a bad man to be jumping aboard too with a pickup ride.
I tell you what, he handled Ascot very well, didn't he, with his riding on Wednesday, Manuel Nunez.
Yeah, it was beautiful viewing Housewife. That was a lovely ride.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have been excited down there sipping on your Savvy Blanc.
I'm a Chardonnay man. 12 Yarra Lee and 7 We Rate You for a horse that ran 3rd of 3 in a 1,000-metre trial. I actually thought he went quite well because he is first up 1,400. It was just simply too short for him, but he kept coming. 2, 4, 12, 7.
Okay. Dockers members don't drink Shardy, mate. That's the other mob.
I tell you what, if they don't start to finish in the top 4 in the next couple of years, I might be wearing the blue and gold.
Oh, no. Don't say that. I'm going 12. Yarra Lee over number 9. King Cartel gets massive weight relief there this afternoon. Hasn't missed a beat without winning a race this campaign. Getting very close, beautifully drawn. Then for Lord Gannicus and 2 investment strategy for me, 12, 9, 4 and 2.
So, Scott.
Okay, so we're certainly on different pathways there going into race 7.
2 from Scott, 4, 12, 7 the minor, and Darren's with 12 to beat 9, 4 and 2. The 8th race at 8 after 1, Westspeed Platinum Mile over 1,600. Emergency is scratched and into $4.80 from 9. Romeo heads the market, $6.50 Inner Point to $5.50 Satino. Inner Point also to $5.50 Profit Rocket. Firm at 10 here for Czechs. Belgiani is 7 out to 10, 21 into 11 West Aussie, 11 to 13 Outspoken Lad. Heading the remainder at $16 is Odinaka.
Gee, there's big money for Romeo, Scotty.
Plenty of it. He's one of those ones that I find very hard, but Westspeed days when they can go from a Class 1 into not only a grad, this is a 66 plus, but it's the kind of day where you've got so many clashing form lines in a restricted acceptors field that you can actually measure up. So I'm very respectful of the money that's coming for him because he did toy with them.
Okay, I found this in some respects a difficult race to try and get a handle on. You've got Satino having its second run back, and I thought was a solid performance first up to Miss Sky High. I like the run of Pro Latte down at Pinjarra in the Grandstand Cup. However, it's drawn an awkward gate. Profit Pocket also has a sticky gate to overcome, but clearly she's racing very well. And then Romeo down near the bottom. So, you know, what he beat there that day, I'm not quite sure.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, didn't seem to be a lot of depth in the race. And then you've got Here for Checks with the gear change. Gets a bit of weight relief, but coming off a hoof abscess back there in the middle of November. What do you do there?
I'm going to roll the dice with Here for Checks. I'm going to trust in Bernie Miller. Bernie, if you were to generalise, would be, I would coin a conservative as a trainer. So if Here for Checks hadn't come through that hoof abscess, he'd be off in the paddock. Bernie's happy to pull up stumps and just play the patient game. So the fact that he's here 5 weeks later, hopefully for me, means that he's fit and firing and ready to go. Because I would just say that his 72 plus, his 66 plus form is as good, if not better, than what the rest of these bring to the race. So at the $10 or $11 that he is each way, Here for Checks is going to get me in a race where some of the speed is drawn wide as well. Now, Outspoken Lad's drawn in 1, but Here for Checks is in 11, Profit Pocket's in 13, even a Happy as Larry if he was jumped in 16. So I'm hoping that Paddy Carberry can slide across and lob a half-decent spot. 4 each way Here for Checks. 2 Satino, loved his first up run off the back of a very impressive 1,450 metre trial. 8 Profit Pocket. She just had to do a bit too much work early to get around Bo Talk to find that spot in the breeze last start in the West Speed Platinum final. To be fair, Bo Talk himself is actually going well if you're looking for a quaddie inclusion. And I'll put in 16 Romeo, but he's now favourite, Romeo, coming out of a very, very moderate Class 1. 4, 2, 8, 16.
It might be argued you're taking well unders at the moment with regards to Romeo. I'm Profit Pocket, but by no means confident. I just love the way that she's going. She's been ultra consistent. She does drop 4 kilos on that last run in the West Speed final behind Janny. Got the job done first up in a 1400. She's looking for a mile now, one would suspect, where she has got a victory. I've marked her ahead of number 16, Romeo, but again, price dependent. That was when it was around that $9 mark. It's nothing like it at the moment. And I'm going to include Satino, but with a little note of caution about its second up card historically. And I'll put 4 Here for Checks in for 4th. 8, 16, 2 and 4. Don't forget, we're underway with the opening event this morning at 4 minutes after 9 o'clock, 4 after 9. So the clock is running there, Matty. And, of course, our preview today is coming to you live from the broadcasting box here at Ascot, where there are some race goers starting to roll through the turnstiles nice and early.
It's very lonely in here. 4 Scott's tip, 2, 8 and 16. And Mac has gone 8, 16, 2 and 4 in race number 8. And the last at 16 to 9, the TBWA Stallion Tender Scheme Trophy over 1,200 with 14 and 18 out. $3.90 for Norwich into 4.80 Hostile Talk. From 21 into 7.50 on Patrol, 16 into 9 Snow Prince, out to $10 from 8 Kraken Time, 14 out from 6.50 Halatorian, and then of the rest, 12 out to 19 Rocket Ruler, 20 or greater remainder.
I'm so glad that Hostile Talk's gone to this race. I think it's a super chance of winning, but I think Norwich provides nearly one of the best stories of the spring and the early summer, Scotty. He'll have to do it again from a wide gate, but did lead from barrier 15 and smash the clock on Winterbottom Stakes Day.
Well, it was remarkable, really. He went faster, same track, same distance, same day, as Overpass did. And we know how good Overpass is here at Ascot. So, look, was it a fluke? Can he do it again? In some ways, you're getting a price point to find out. He's sitting around the $4 marker. Now, this preparation, he probably was a good thing beat first up over 1,000. He should have beaten Oregon Hiker. He just didn't get any luck at all. So he could have won 3 of his 5 this time in. So maybe as a 6-year-old, he's just found something.
What they've done, what Karen Kersley has done, and obviously she's working very closely with the son Taj.
I heard what she's done. She stopped listening to him.
Yeah, well, that might well be a good thing too. You can't put an old head on young shoulders. Not that I'm saying Kaz is old, because she's not. But I'll tell you one thing that they have done with Norwich. They've ridden the horse for sheer speed.
Correct.
Blistering speed, and that seems to be the best way to ride the gelding.
Mitch Pateman says it all the time in post-race interviews, let fast horses be fast.
Yep.
And that's what Norwich is. He's really, really quick. So Sean McGrady rode him like that on Melbourne Cup Day, and it paid dividends, so I don't see a reason why he won't be handlebars down to try and cross them again.
Didn't just win last start, it blew them away.
He got 5 points. He could have got 6. He could have got 7. So in some ways, 57 kilos here today is not the worst spot for him. I did make fun of Taj, but it's good to see he's back at trials on Monday too now, Taj, having a second crack at it as a senior jockey. So best of luck to you.
Yeah, good on him too. Works hard behind the scenes, young Taj. Hostile Talk's the one I'm really interested in now that it's got a run.
Same. They took him last preparation or the previous preparation from a maiden straight to a grad on a Saturday, and he went around even money. So there's always been a good expectation of his ability level. Liked his trial, but at the same time you caveat it with the fact that he only beat General Knowledge, who got rolled down at Albany in a Class 2. So the trial on his own visually, impressive. What he beat, not convinced.
On trials, good trials. Cable Boy, I thought, was one of those down there at Albany recently. And first up today, I'd be expecting on his previous good fresh card from a low draw, Cable Boy somewhere in the mix. I thought he might add a bit of value there to your exotics.
And any other day, Sean McGrady would have stuck with him. It's just the fact that Norwich is in this race and he gets to jump back aboard, and you couldn't knock that ride back after last start. 7:17, 8 Capricorn Man, always goes well this track distance and can run a race fresh, and 4 Halatorian, who's been getting back and running home in nice closing sections. 7:17, 8 and 4.
Yeah, 7:17, 11 for me for third. That's Cable Boy, and 2 Snow Prince low draw. There's been good money around as well. 4th run in, and profiles to get a very good run in that final event for the day. But I'll be looking forward to seeing how it does go today. Norwich again from barrier 15. Okay, Scotty, your very best for the day. I know that you've got commitments there with 7+ and on course downstairs in the next few moments with Lockie Taylor. We'll be looking forward to your coverage from the yard through the course of this meeting. What's the special for the day?
I'm playing 2 races, Mac. I'm going to play the Van Heemst and just taking the Numerian Sox Nation Quinella. I think they'll street away from the local horses. And race 3, backing Kisses from Kelly, Saving Rocking Society. So those will be my 2 play races today.
Okay, I'm staying very strongly with Daytona Pete, race 5, number 6. The Platinum Size Stakes, and holding up still relatively well in the market. I think the 1200 absolutely ideal from the draw and racing so well. Daytona Pete for me is my best for the program. You've got to go there, and we'll be listening to your coverage in a few moments' time when you join up with Lockie Taylor, who's there down at the desk and ready to commence our coverage on what is a very, very big day for West Speed, Platinum Day, and of course the running of the Ted Van Heemst.
And at 1:57, the first race comes out of Narrogin, so you can flick on to 7+ and just park there all day. Lockie Taylor will stick around and he'll take you through Narrogin with Matty French.
Okay, don't forget too, tomorrow you'll be at Bunbury as well. That meeting transferred from Pinjarra. I think Pinjarra have got 39 degrees tomorrow. They couldn't run that meeting, and Bunbury's got 38, so they're doing it by degree at the moment, it would seem.
Going to be very warm there, and whether it's tomorrow or, more importantly, Boxing Day at Pinjarra, leave yourself plenty of time. There'll be lots of traffic on the road.
Yeah, there will. Always a good tip. Thanks, mate. And we'll be back there with you in a few moments' time down at ground level. Won't be too far away from seeing them parade down the back. By the way, the track, as we predicted there at the start of the day, they went soft 5 after putting a bit of irrigation on the course. It's now a good 4 officially. And that has been Inside Running. Scotty, all the best.
22 minutes till race 1.
Okay, we're looking forward to that and bringing you our coverage of Ted Van Heemst Stakes Day from Ascot with an early start at 4 minutes after 9.